I knew immediately after I posted that. I had a bad feeling. I was like, somebody is evil eyeing this. Like, I could just feel it.
What the hell was she thinking? She was using taxpayer funds to purchase all of her supplies. So a couple of weeks ago, Bridget over on TikTok came out and told the story of how she got kicked out of her Section 8 housing for selling candied grapes. And then later, she also talks about how she was banned from the food assistance program because they found out that she was using her food stamps to fund her business. So I want to go over this story with you and let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like she should be completely canceled from the internet because she exposed herself committing welfare fraud? Do you respect the hustle but think that she did wrong? I am absolutely torn. I do not know how to feel about this story, but we're going to talk about it today because I do think it's worthy of being talked about. Not only is it exposing fraud and abuse of taxpayer funds, but it's also a story of overcoming obstacles and doing better for yourself and your family when you have no other choice.
So last year I had got kicked out of my Section 8 apartment for making candy grapes out of my apartment, which I didn't know was very illegal to do. I was just trying to make money for my kids, and my husband had lost his job that December because we had got COVID and he was in his probationary period for his job and he had to take off, so they fired him. Actually, they brought him back for a week, fired him a week after Christmas.
So it is clear that she was not intentionally looking to defraud her public assistance, right? It's about to become clear that she saw a need to take care of her family, so she stepped up.
So from December to April, we didn't have an income. Things were getting like really, really rough. So I know what I had to do. I knew I could make some really good grapes, and we made a Facebook page and it literally blew up. I went from not even having any social media to having 5,000 followers in less than 50 days. I was working 7/12s and I was making a lot of money that I did not turn in.
See right there, that was her first big mistake. She made a lot of money. She said, quote, a lot of money, and she didn't turn any of it in. So we're gonna find out she was in Section 8 housing. She was also a part of the food assistance program. And when you're a part of public assistance programs, and I know this firsthand because I used to be years and years ago, you have to turn in any and all income, even if it's temporary. But most people that are on public assistance, they don't want to turn in any income because the chance of you getting your assistance back after that temporary spike in income is gone is a lot more difficult. So a lot of the times people don't even feel the need to report it because they think, who's gonna know? But what Bridget is about to find out is it's not a good idea to publicly post all of this stuff on your social media in this day and age because it will get back to the state.
So the manager of my apartments had found out because we went on a beach vacation. I was actually able to pay for within like 3 weeks a beach vacation for my family, and we.
Okay, this is the first part where I am on the side of the fence of what the hell was she thinking, right? So she says that she and her husband were without an income after he lost his job from December until April. It started getting rough, so that's why she did this to make some extra money. But you're telling me that the first thing that you're gonna do in the first 3 weeks of making all this extra money is you're gonna go on a beach vacation. She has kids. She has a lot of kids. She hasn't mentioned it yet, but I think she has 5 kids at this present time, and she is now pregnant with number 6. If memory serves, we haven't got there yet, but you're meaning to tell me that you haven't had income. You're already a low-income family and you've had no income for 4 to 5 months. You get a chunk of money from a business, and rather than, I don't know, catching up on bills, saving some of it, you go on a beach vacation. I'm just gonna let you finish my thoughts in the comments because I don't wanna say it out loud.
I posted a picture of it on our business page because we were just happy and we were having a great time, and my kids, we don't get to do that stuff kind of often, so we were having a lot of fun. And I knew immediately after I posted that, I had a bad feeling. I was like, somebody is evil eyeing this. Like, I could just feel it.
Of course somebody's evil eyeing it. You have probably been posting on your social media that you are in financial destitution, you're struggling, your husband's lost his job, you probably have a lot of friends on social media that are in a similar situation to you, but you're posting a fun family beach vacation. Now, it needs to be said, I am not saying that people are not allowed to take a vacation, especially if you've been on the struggle bus, especially if you have had a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle for so long where you feel like you can never get ahead. I understand a vacation, and I'm not saying that people that are in this kind of situation don't deserve to have a vacation. But what I am saying is, doing it in the first 3 weeks when you are trying to recover from a job loss while you are having public assistance as your only means of income, and this money is not reported, so you are defrauding the entire public assistance program. You are fraudulently using your Section 8 housing. You are fraudulently using your food stamps because you're not doing what you're supposed to do and reporting your income so that your assistance can be adjusted accordingly. Of course, there's people that's going to be evil eyeing your page when you're flaunting a beach vacation during this time. That was not smart. It was not smart at all.
And I also knew in my heart when I got home that I was coming home to something in my door, and I did. While I was on vacation, somebody, which I believe was the manager of the apartments, had got on my Facebook from a page that was literally just made, and the picture of it was a rat. A rat. And they commented all my business on there. They knew so much about me and my apartment complex and my business and everything. It was someone that was very close to me but didn't really know me yet, but was very, very mad that I was doing business in these apartments, which I did not know that I could not do.
I can about guarantee it wasn't because you were doing business out of the apartment and you weren't supposed to be doing it. I think it was a jealousy thing. Because a lot of the times, correct me if I'm wrong, not everybody's there to see you win. Not everybody is there to see you win. Not everybody is proud of you when you're winning. A lot of people get jealous, and a lot of people want to knock individuals down a peg when they feel like someone is flaunting a little bit too much or someone has gotten a little bit too big for their britches. And she must have known she was doing naughty, because she said that she had a feeling when she got back she would be approached with what is about to happen. And you would think that if she had the feeling that was going to happen, she would have had the foresight not to post it at all. You get what I'm saying?
You know, I literally just started making candy grapes for just some extra money, just try to get through, and it blew up. So like I said, I knew in my heart something was going to be in my door when I got home. Surely that night of June, I got home from the beach, I had a note in my door. And it was a note from my manager saying that she had been informed by multiple people that I had started a business a couple weeks ago, been making a bunch of money, had a big following on Facebook, went on family vacation. They had wrongly dated. The letter was dated for June 17th. I didn't even go on vacation till June 18th.
Who gives a shit that the letter was dated incorrectly? You did it. I don't know why she spends a chunk of time focusing on the fact that the letters were dated at a different time than when she took the beach vacation. That is neither here nor there. I don't know if she's trying to use it as a way to void her getting kicked out of her Section 8. If she's trying to say that because they dated things wrong, they can't force her to leave. I don't know. This was way before. It's not like this is happening in real time or anything, but who cares that the letter was dated incorrectly?
Back on the 25th, and the letter was in my door, and they were talking about my vacation and everything in it. So, and I didn't even post the family picture until June 23rd, and they had the letter dated for June 17th, and I didn't even post the family picture of the beach till June 23rd.
Who cares?
So anyways, to make a really long story short, the letter said that I needed to meet with the manager. She had went back on all of my posts and calculated that I had made over $10,000 in a 7-week period, and that I didn't turn in any of my income, which is true, I didn't. But I never hid anything. I was very open about this the entire.
Yeah, of course, you were very open. You were posting all about it on social media, but what you weren't publicly talking about was how much money you were making and the fact that you weren't reporting it. So it says a lot if her landlord was able to calculate how much money she suspected that Bridget had made over the course of a certain amount of time because she was posting so much on social media. So you can imagine how much was being flaunted. Now, I'm not saying that posting about your success on social media is a bad idea, especially if you're a growing entrepreneur. This is me being on the defensive side of the fence, right? I am all for supporting another mom, another woman, another entrepreneur growing a business and making money, especially when you are rising from the ashes of a financially destitute situation where you have had no income at all, and then suddenly you're rolling in dough and it looks like everything is gonna be okay. There is an overwhelming sense of success and self-worth and pride because you did it from nothing, right? And I'm not dogging that. But how are you gonna flaunt all of this when you are on public assistance and you know that you're living in Section 8 housing? That part was so incredibly stupid. I'm just gonna say it was stupid. It was extremely stupid.
I literally had people all day, every day, pulling up to my apartment, and her office was right across from my apartment. She keeps her windows open. She was literally best friends with my neighbor. She knew what was going on. So I went in for the meeting. She gave me two options. I could move out scotch-free, just drop it all. Or I could try to fight it and to stay my lease out, which was due in August anyways. But either way, she was not going to let me renew my lease. She wanted me out of there.
It's not that she wanted you out of there. You were violating the lease. There are a lot of leases, and even if you buy your own house, there can be HOAs that forbid you from running a business out of your house. And that was actually something when I personally was looking to purchase a house, I told my real estate agent, don't even show me anything that has an HOA, because most HOAs will absolutely forbid you from running a business outside of your house. Now, there are certain businesses that are allowed. Like if you don't have people coming to your house, if you have the kind of business where it's all computer work, or you don't have people coming to visit, you don't see clients at your home, it's not a big deal. But at the time and currently, I am an entrepreneur where I exchange goods for services, goods for product. And so there will be times when either I have yard sales or I will have people come pick up items off of my porch. There's a lot of interaction from my house for the business, and HOAs would forbid that kind of activity. The same thing goes with apartments. People will have clauses in their leases that say you cannot run a business out of your house, especially if it's Section 8, because they don't want you getting money under the table for businesses just like she's doing that go unreported to the state. So the fact that she was literally across from her landlord, having all of these people coming and going and conducting all of these business transactions, the fact that she didn't think that that was going to be a red flag, especially because she was not reporting her income, is beyond me. That was probably the dumbest thing that she did in this entire situation. You're living across from your landlord, people are coming and going, you're exchanging goods for money, and you didn't think there was going to be a problem with that. At the very least, she should have reported the income, because maybe if she would have reported the income, it wouldn't have turned out like this. But we're about ready to find out that it didn't really all end badly for her, and that is, again, me on the defensive side of the fence. I am extremely pleased to see that she did overcome all of these obstacles, and she's better for it.
Mind you, I had only lived there barely a year and a half. And also when I was in there, she told me that fraud investigators got a hold of her from the food stamp office, and now they were also investigating me due to some complaints as well.
Ooh.
So
and the plot thickens. That's right, there's a second part we're gonna listen to where she talks about food stamp fraud, because as she mentioned, she was selling candied grapes out of her apartment. Well, when you have no income except for your supplemental food assistance, how do you think she was buying the grapes and supplies for her business? She was using taxpayer funds to purchase all of her supplies.
So like I said, the manager from the apartments had got a hold of me when we were in our meeting and told me that she was also contacted by some fraud investigators from the food stamp office, and they had opened an investigation on me because they had complaints as well. So during the meeting with the manager, I had just decided to just give up the apartment. I wasn't going to try to fight for 2 months because she already had made up her mind that she wasn't going to renew my lease anyways.
Again, she wouldn't have been able to stay even if the landlord was willing to maybe look past it, because it's against her lease. It's absolutely against her lease to run a business out of the apartment, so she wouldn't have been able to stay anyway.
So I just took my loss and moved out. Now I look back and I kind of wish I would have fought it, just because like I'm living with my mother-in-law and that's always hard right now, and I miss my apartment, but everything happens for a reason. So the next day I immediately called the food stamp office and tried to get a hold of whatever investigators were over my case, and I got a hold of them, and they were expecting my call, and they knew who I was, and they told me that I could be facing prison time. They told me what...
Yeah, in case you didn't know, a lot of the people that have been getting busted for food stamp fraud have been talking about just losing their food stamps or being forced to repay what food stamps they were given in benefits as a result of fraudulently claiming assistance. However, there is a possibility of jail time as well. And the fact that she is a mom with 5 going on 6 kids, that had to have been pretty scary for her. And this again is where I'm on the defensive side, saying, I'm glad that everything worked out for her, because it could have ended very, very badly. She was absolutely defrauding all the welfare that she was receiving, the food assistance, the Section 8. She was breaking rules by not reporting any income. Again, the main problem here was not that she was breaking her lease by selling out of her house. The main problem here is the fact that she was not reporting income and still collecting her food stamps. She was still receiving assistance with Section 8 housing, and she was doing all of it while banking thousands of dollars selling candied grapes on the side, while using her food stamps to fund that business. Again, I'm all over the place. I don't know how to feel about this chick. I don't know. How are you guys feeling? You hanging in there with me?
What I done was very serious, and they did actually have some evidence that I was, in fact, swiping my food card a few times for. I had to start my business to take the pictures. I had bought the supplies with my food card, and they had evidence of that. But come to find out, whenever the investigators came over to the house and talked to me, they were amazing, and they worked with me so much and were so helpful. And since I had never been in trouble and it was my first offense with anything, all I had to do was sign So I ended up just having to sign an IPV, which is just saying that I had violated the food stamp program and that I was no longer allowed to ever be on food stamps, which I was completely fine with, as a matter of fact, very happy with, because I thought I could have been going to prison, and I have 6 babies. So fast forward almost a year later, I'm living with my mother-in-law. Thankfully she has a way big enough house to fit me and my kids in it right now. I am on maternity leave because during it all I get pregnant. But good news is, since then I was able to get a commercial kitchen. Just a few months after getting kicked out of the apartment, I was able to really jumpstart my business. I now have a full business making my candy grapes called 740 Eats, and I branched out into selling other foods. And I am just on maternity leave, and I am looking at a new deal to open a full restaurant next year. We are just waiting on a few things. I got a text this morning. We're waiting on a vent hood and the sink and the prep room and everything. But other than that, everything happens for a reason. I don't think that we were meant to stay on food stamps. I don't think we were meant to be on HUD. I don't think we were meant to just stay in that stagnant situation. I think that we were comfortable in, and that we...
So there is a saying that I have been seeing all over, and I think that it is so completely true, and it is the best way to react to what she's saying right here. Financial assistance, food assistance, public assistance, taxpayer-funded assistance is meant to be a safety net, not a hammock. And a lot of people are comparing it to that, saying that they got really comfortable in this hammock and they just stay on assistance indefinitely. And that's not what the assistance is meant to do, unless of course you have a disability or you cannot work. That is a completely different thing. I'm talking about for able-bodied people, for people that can go out and get a job, for people that do have the ability to go out and use the assistance as a springboard into something better like she did. It's a safety net. It's not a hammock. And I am so glad to hear her say things like, everything happens for a reason. I don't think that we were meant to stay on assistance forever. She's absolutely right. That's not what it's there for. It's there to help you temporarily until you can get back on your feet, which it sounds like, and again, this is me praising her entrepreneurship. She saw a problem and she fixed it. She said that she knew that she could make good candied grapes. She knew that if she started a business, it would blow up, and she was right. And now it sounds like she's doing a lot better than before. Although she's not mentioning her husband. She said, for me and my kids living with my mother-in-law. Obviously, her mother-in-law is the grandmother of the children, so that's why she would be living there. But she hasn't mentioned her husband at all. What do you think happened there? I don't know, maybe a little bit of tea? I don't know. But we're not going to dig into that because that's not what this story is about. But I am a little bit intrigued.
Probably would have stayed in if it wasn't for this push of us to get out of. So now our goals are to just continue saving our money. My husband works full-time, actually works 2 jobs right now to make up for my income since I'm on maternity leave. And we're just saving and hopefully getting our credit repaired and getting all of our ducks in a row to buy a home.
Now, I can't end this video without showing you her product because it is quite impressive. Because I too sell food, right? I have a nut and candy business, kindanutty.com. You guys have probably heard me mention it in these videos before. If you followed me for a long time, you remember when I first announced it. And if you can do food different from somebody else, you're going to get the business. So I want to show you guys what her actual candy grapes looks like because they look good. I'm not going to lie. They look real, real good. Look at the yummies, right? No wonder it blew up. Look at those. No wonder it blew up. It's so incredibly creative. I've never heard anything like candied grapes before. And of course, it looks like she's doing other things like strawberries and looks like little dipped cookies and things. But these little party packs, how cute are these? You know, so again, this is me saying I am a fan of this story because she did better herself from a bad situation. They literally kicked her ass out the door. And as soon as her butt hit the pavement, she springboarded herself back up and she found a way to do better. And I love a story like that. I just wish that it didn't result in the abuse of taxpayer funds. Now, it looks like the fraud and the abuse of the welfare system did not last long. It was maybe only a few months because the landlord caught wind of it. It got reported to the state because she was, again, posting it all over social media, which was not a good idea for her to do. But I love her mindset and I love how she did better for herself and her kids. I don't know if you can completely agree with everything I said. If you disagree with most of what I said, let me know down in the comments below. I feel like this is a very interesting story. Let me know your thoughts. And if you like videos like this, remember to hit that thumbs up before you leave. I greatly appreciate it. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post my next video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.